from Las Vegas. Taped live at the fabulous Stratosphere Hotel and Casino, Pat Gold Productions proudly presents professional gambler John Patrick.
Gamblers Watch, so you want to be a gambler 2022. I am Miss Megan, and tonight's show is called Casino Fun 101. Tonight's special guests are professional authors and gamblers. First is our in-house expert, gambler, sports handicapper, and author of over 15 books, Mr. John Patrick. In addition, we have author Charlie Frere, who is the author of the book Casino Fun 101. One lucky viewer will win a signed copy of his book tonight. So let's get started. G-Man, aka G-Craps, is your host and author of Platinum Craps and Dice Setting Book. Let's welcome Garrison.
Hey, there we go, guys. Love this software. Welcome. This is Vegas. It's 71 degrees out. Sorry it took a little long to get this show on, but eCam has some strange software that's coming up. But anyways, it's going to be an interesting show. We want to say hello to Miss Megan. Let's bring her back real quick. Hey, Miss Megan.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. Hope you had a good couple weeks off. And summer's about to come. Have you seen any good shows on TV lately? Boy, there's been some really bizarre shows and some interesting sports matchups. There was a big game last night. We're going to get into some sports handicapping with John. Anything new in your life?
My birthday's coming up.
Oh, your birthday's coming up. Okay, wait a minute, guys. Happy birthday to Miss Megan. So if anybody wants to send her a birthday wish, when is it, Miss Megan?
It's Saturday, April 9th is my
Saturday,
birthday.
April 9th. Okay, well, Miss Megan will be back, and I'm sure she'll have some good vibes to add to the show. All right, so we've got an interesting show. We got two great authors. We've got our resident professional, John Patrick. He's going to be on a little bit later. And we've got a gentleman who wrote a really interesting book. I saw it on Amazon. I decided to get a copy. I'm always interested to talk to new authors. And his name is Mr. Charlie Frere. So we're going to go right to Portland, Oregon, and see if we can bring in Charlie. Hang on, let me see if we can bring him in right now. Charlie, you on?
Hey, hi. Great to be on. What an honor to be on your show, Garrison.
Well, I hope everybody can hear him. We have to do it on speakerphone. All right. So let us know if the volume is good. So Charlie, give me a shout out. I just want to make sure your volume is good.
Okay. I live in Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon.
I'm sorry, Portland, Maine. Okay.
It's the best city on the East Coast. You know.
All right. Well, I read your book. I thought it was really interesting, and I decided to invite you to have you on the show. It's not like most books because it doesn't teach you gambling, which is kind of nice. It's a little break. In fact, there's a lot of books out on the market. What gave you the idea to write Casino Fun 101 and tell the viewers a little bit about it? In fact, I'm going to give you the full screen right now. We're going to let you have the whole thing. All right, it's all yours.
All right, great. Well, first off, I think where I started, I just really have enjoyed going to casinos and playing casino games. It's been a lot of fun. I've done it for a lot of years. And on a lot of the trips that I've taken and times I've played in casinos, one of the things I notice is I often see a lot of people that don't seem to be having fun. And I'll tell you, I have so much fun when I play casino games, be it craps, blackjack, the slot machines, whatever. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to just write a book about how to go to a casino, have a great time, and not lose your shirt. You know, have a great time. I love winning, but my book's not necessarily about how to win. My book really is about how to have fun. And if you do the things that I teach in the book, you will win a great number of times, actually.
Well, I was reading some of the table of contents, and we are going to give away a free copy to some lucky viewer tonight. So I also know it's on Amazon, and we'll get into where to get the book a little bit later. But I was reading the table of contents, and just to let the viewers know what kind of player will you be, casinos and how they work, understanding the challenge. You do get into odds a little bit, planning organization, which of course we believe in, money management, discipline, and there's something interesting in here called the Trip Kit. And I was interested in that. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about what the Trip Kit is?
I'd love to. The Trip Kit actually is a whole chapter of the book, and by the way, you can go to my website, CasinoFun101, and .com, and you can print out a free copy of the whole trip kit. And it's basically a bunch of questions that it's important to ask before you go on any casino adventure. Questions like, what's going to be your budget? How much are you going to play? What game are you going to play? When will you quit when you're ahead? When will you quit when you're behind? How often will you play? How long will you play? Those kind of things. A lot of really simple questions, but honestly, and I know you know this, Garrison, if you plan all that in advance and you know the answers to those questions in advance, you're guaranteed a great trip, win, lose, or draw.
Well, I agree with that. Let's see, what else? Well, discipline, preparation. You know, we believe in the big four and the little three: theory, logic, and trends. Money management, discipline. So I guess you cover some of that in the book as well.
Yeah. In fact, I have to give a shout out to John Patrick because he is one of the people that really stresses discipline, and I'm on the same boat as John. I think it's one of the most important pieces to the puzzle if you want to play in casinos. Whether you're whether you're playing for fun like I do, or you're playing seriously and you're really a professional, discipline and patience are the two qualities, if you will, that are critical to be successful at gambling and to have fun at gambling.
Well, we definitely agree with that. We tell our players, don't be a bull, be a bear. Look for a day's pay, 10, 20, 30% return on investment. If you keep winning, lock up part of that profit and then play with the excess. So a lot of that stuff that you tell the viewers or the readers is definitely great information. I know you're on Amazon because that's where I saw you. And
Yeah.
You said you had a website. Give that out one more time to the viewers.
Yep. It's CasinoFun101.com.
Well, that's easy. Casino Fun.
And it's the book is promoted on there, and like I said, you can print out. I talked about doing a scavenger hunt in casinos, which is really fun. You can print out a copy of the scavenger hunt. You can print out a copy of the trip kit, and I also have 10 golden rules of gaming, and I also have 10 advantages that a player has over the casino, and all of that is available for free on my website.
All right. Well, I think we're getting a couple questions that the viewers may have, so let me bring in Miss Megan real quick. Okay.
All right.
Let's get her picture back up here. Where'd she go? There she
By the way,
is.
John, while you're doing that, I wanted to make sure that people also know that my book is being carried by the Gamblers Bookstore and the Gamblers Book Club out of Las Vegas.
Yeah, we're real good friends with
You
them.
can go to Amazon and get it there as well.
In fact, I actually left a copy for one of the buyers there for them to check out. So congratulations for getting the book in the Gamblers Bookstore. All right.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing that.
Well, we're always trying to help out. We're always trying to help out people that can make gaming a little bit more interesting for people. The Gamblers Bookstore is a must-see. If guys come into Vegas, it's just north of the Strip on 727 Main Street. They've been very, very helpful to us. I mean, I have to say. So to Mary and the owners, we're glad you got your book in there. Miss Megan, do you have a question for Charlie? Does somebody have a question for Charlie?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken Green is asking
Where's Ken?
Well, this question is actually for John.
We'll wait until John comes on. Let's see if we have anything for.
Okay.
Well, Ken just says, if I can get him up on the screen.
Ken says hello, Charlie.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
And thank you, Steve, for the birthday wishes.
Yeah. Oh, and we have Vince. He says hello. I'm trying. Well, I think I have too many screens up on the screen.
Oh,
so.
I've got a question for you, Charlie.
All right. Here's one. Go ahead.
Edward is asking, what is your favorite game and why?
Oh, great. I have two favorite games, to be honest with you. I love Blackjack. That was really where I got started, was playing Blackjack. And I do very well at Blackjack. I know how to do I know how to do card counting, and I know how to follow shuffles and a lot of the technical stuff. But at the same time, I really, really enjoy craps because of the crowd. Because it's so exciting, and when you get on a good roll and you have 10 or 15 people around the table and everybody's rooting for the person that's throwing the dice, it's just so much fun. So I like that for the spirit of it and the fun of it and kind of the community of it. And I really like Blackjack because of the skill it takes to really be good at that, and I've really worked at mastering that skill.
Nice.
Yeah, that definitely dollar for dollar is one of the better games to play, especially if you know how to put the odds in your favor. So, this show definitely talks a lot about craps. I'm just looking at some of the things in the book here: taking care of your money, establishing your budget. Also, it's a nice read. It's about about 100, just under 150 pages, and it's not that expensive.
I wrote it so that people could read it on the airplane on their way to Las Vegas.
Yeah, what's the retail on Amazon, Charlie? How much is it?
It's $13.99. Now I think they should sell it for $15, but they're selling it for $13.99, and the e-copy is I think $9, maybe $10.
Oh, okay. So if people want to see it on Kindle and read it on their phone or their laptop or whatever, okay. So there's a lot of different ways you can get this information. Again, guys, it's Casino Fun 101 by Mr. Charlie Fair. And it's definitely worth reading. I've read it. I think it's a really good book. Gives you a lot of good common sense things to do before you come to Vegas. Some of the better games to play and how to make your stay in Vegas a little more profitable. So, Charlie, we said we were going to give away a book to one lucky viewer, and we are. In fact, you actually signed it. It said, "Good luck always, Charlie." So what I want to do is I'm going to tell the people a little bit later how we're going to work out this giveaway so it's fair to everybody.
Okay.
Give me a number, and Miss Megan, I want you to write this down. Give me a number between, say, 1 and 25.
17 is my lucky number.
17. Well, 7 and 1 equals 8. 8's the money number.
Yes,
so,
it is. I know that too.
You know, if you're into numerology, 7 and 1 is 18. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back a little bit later. I'm going to bring you back to say goodbye. I've got to bring John in from Florida. And 17 is the lucky number. So we're going to tell people how we're going to give that book away to one of our lucky viewers. So Charlie, thanks very much. Anything else you want to add till I put you back in the green room for a second?
You know, there's one more thing. I just want to tell you my dream, okay? One of my dreams is that, you know how thousands of people come to Las Vegas every year for a conference, whether it's AT&T or truck drivers or whatever, and they always get a bag of goodies? My goal is that those bags will have my book in it.
Oh, that would be nice. All right.
I think it's the perfect introduction for people like that, you know, for people that are there for a few days on vacation.
Well, we have to talk to the promoters that put those gift bags together and try to get you in.
Exactly.
That's a good idea. I'd like to have my book in there too. So, all right, Charlie, we'll come back a little bit later. We thank you, and if we get some more questions, we'll send them your way. Oh, here's one from James. All right, Charlie, do you ever play the dark side in craps? Do you ever play on the don't side?
Great question. Garrison's a much bigger expert than I am, and no, I don't. I always play the positive side.
All right, well, James, it's funny you mentioned that because we are going to get into the don't side of craps before the show's over, and I've got a clip from an old show that I'm going to show about the dark side. So he asked Charlie, and we will get into that. Here's
Great.
another nice comment. Thank you for coming to share your info. From Jar 99. Everyone has little nicknames. Okay, so we appreciate that. All right. And Ken, Miss Megan, what does Ken say?
We'll be getting your book, Charlie. Thanks.
All right, so you just had one sale right there, Charlie. All right. Hopefully before the show's over, we'll have more. All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks very much. We'll get back to you at the end of the show. All right.
All right, I'll be here.
All right. So, do me a favor, Miss Megan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have you call John. All right, guys. Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. We're glad we could get Charlie on. His book is definitely worth it. We're going to talk about craps. We're going to get John Patrick on the line because he's one of our major guests. You know, he's hard to get a hold of. He's like Howard Hughes, but he's been very, very nice to us. He comes on the show. He answers all your questions. And we've had some great and unusual games during March Madness. I just saw a ticket online on Facebook. This gentleman bet Kansas at -4. Well, we all know what happened. They won by 3. A couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, John went on his sports handicapping service, and he said, bet Kansas to win,
Hello?
money line, and
Hey, John, it's Megan.
it worked out. Plus, he then took the other team
Can you hear me?
at +4. So,
Okay,
anyways,
hold on.
I think
Yes,
we're
one
getting
second.
John on the phone. All right,
Well, go ahead.
All right.
I'll do the best I can.
John, how you doing? We've got you on. You're on the show. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right, John's on the line. The first thing I want to talk about, John, is
I can hear you.
okay.
I'm trying to get the picture up. The picture went off. But
Well, don't worry about the picture. We'll send you the whole show afterwards because there's a delay. If you put the picture on, you may get a delay in the vocal. So turn down your volume on your computer, and if you have the show on, turn the volume down there. But we're getting a lot of questions for you already, and Miss Megan's going to have some questions for you. All right.
I hope they let me know ahead of time because I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, but I'll do the best I can.
Well, let's talk about the March Madness, about the sports. You know, there's been some wild games. I'm on your sports handicapping service, and if anybody wants to get on John's sports handicapping service, just go to platinumcraps.com. You can see his website. And what did you think about the March Madness and some of those upsets, John?
Oh, there's so many upsets. It just goes to show you can't handicap basketball. It's just so hard. I mean, they play games, and there was something in the paper the other day, Garrett. Two teams are fighting for the playoffs. One of them's got it made, but the other one, and if they do win and get in the position that they're going to play, they would have to play the Nets. Well, they don't want to play the Nets, not with that superstar on the Nets. So the question was, do you think, I won't mention the other team's name, do you think they'll blow the games so they don't have to play the Nets? Can you imagine? I mean, that's the craziness of these people. Me, I won that game last night. I had the money line, which I tell people, and I'm telling you, please do not lay points. I'll say it again. Do not lay points. Last night, Kansas was laying 4 points to North Carolina. Kansas money line was minus 174. I put several hundred on the money line. They were losing by 15 points at the half. They came back and beat North Carolina by 3. When I saw what North Carolina was doing in the second half, which was folded, I went back and took North Carolina getting 4 and caught a middle. You cannot, and I'm just going to say it again to you people who bet sports, I'm begging you, don't lay points. Don't lay even 4 points. I didn't lay 4 points last night with Kansas. I took the money line, minus 174, and then went back and took North Carolina plus 4. They lost by 3. If you understand what I'm saying, I won the money line with Kansas, and I won the crisscross hedge with North Carolina. And I'll just say one more thing before I can take your questions. The Super Bowl, a couple of weeks ago, the Rams were favored by 4 points over Cincinnati. I wouldn't lay 4 points, or 3, or 2. So I had the money line, quite a bit of money on Kansas. I beg your pardon, on the Rams. Cincinnati, I didn't think they had a chance. On my service, I gave out 11 picks, 11, on the Rams to win in the money line. But, there's always a but. I went back and took 8 picks on Cincinnati, getting 4 points. They lost by 3. It's called a middle. I middled last night's game with the money line and North Carolina plus 4. They lost by 3. And the Super Bowl with the Rams money line, and went back and took Cincinnati, who I didn't think had a Chinaman's chance of winning. They did. They lost by 3, but I had the points. I hope somebody calls in and say, when should I lay points? Well, I'll take that answer right now. Never. Go ahead, Gav.
Well, you taught me years ago, you have to hedge bet in football. You bet teasers. Baseball's coming up. I know you like to do series. Then we can hedge bet. I mean, I've learned so much about sports handicapping from you.
Back up a second. Did you people hear what Gary said? A very, very, very sharp thing he said. I know you like to bet series. This is what he meant. Let's suppose the Dodgers were playing the Giants in a 3-game series, or the Yankees were playing Baltimore in a 3-game series, or Detroit was playing Kansas City in a 3-game series. That means the upcoming series is either 3 games or sometimes 4, but mostly 3 games. I don't have to bet the individual games. I bet the series, which is what Gary just said. You like to bet the series. That means I'll bet the 3-team series. There are books that allow you to bet the series. When the series begins, a 3-teamer, I go back and I take the power team. In this case, the Yankees playing Kansas City. I take the Yankees to win. Not to win the game. National League. I bet the series. I'm not going to bet the Angels.
Yeah, and go ahead. I was just going to say, if each game wins one game after 2 games, then you can go back and hedge it, and you're in a position to either win a little or win a lot.
That's what Gary said. I know he did it real quick. He said, no, he likes to bet the series. Think about it. You don't have to bet individual games. You can bet the first, and if you lose the first game with the power team, go back and bet the other side. To crisscross your bet, to cut down the amount of money you're going to lose. There's one thing I say every single week. I give a seminar, and I've been on every TV show you can name. But I like Gary's the best. Seriously, I've known Gary for 30 years. But they all ask the same time. They all ask the same question. Who do you like tonight? It isn't tonight. I want to bet the series because I got a chance. If I lose the first game, the Dodgers lost to the Angels. Holy mackerel! How the heck did they lose to the? I go back and bet the Angels in the next game to get the series back again. And if the Dodgers win, but if they don't win, I got the Angels covering it.
Well, we're getting some questions, John. I'm going to have Miss Megan. She's going to ask some questions for you, and I'll try to put them up on the screen. Who do we have first, Miss Megan?
A question from Ken Green.
Ken Green. All right, I'm trying to find it. Go ahead, you ask it.
What does John recommend for a retire to help supplement / and let you play a lot?
I don't know if I understand.
Wait a minute, Megan. You said what does John like, and what was the option?
What does John recommend for a retire to help supplement / let you play a lot?
I'm trying to find
supplement his income.
Supplement.
I believe so.
Retirement.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't.
Should be up at the top.
I don't understand the question. A supplement. My income is betting. I never had a job in my life. My income is sports. So if you're, I think you said retired, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
If he's retired, give me a number. What's the fellow's name that asked the question?
Ken Green.
Ken Green?
Yes.
Ken Green.
Okay. Hey, Ken, I assume you're retired because you said, what would I do, the way the question come out. Give me a number between 7 and 4. 6. The first bet you make is $6. If you win, go up to $12 the next one. If you win, you go up to $20 the next one. If you lose, go back down to $5. Go up twice and then regress down, lock up a profit for that particular run. But the whole key is win 1, win 2, and then regress. For those of you who are very, very, very tight with the money, you don't have a lot of money to play with, but you want to bet on a sport to give yourself some action and to give yourself something entertaining to watch at nighttime. Then start with an $8 bet. If you win, go back to 5 after just one win. You've locked up a profit, and then if you lose at 5, well, you won 8 and lost 5, you cleared $3. And don't laugh at it, because you can put zeros on the end of the explanation. But let's suppose I'll give you a four-stringer. You bet 8, you won. Go down and bet 5 the next time where you locked up a profit of $3. So you bet 5. If you lose, well, the series is over and you won $3. But let's suppose you won the $5 bet. Now you got 13. Go up to 15. You win at 15, go back to 5. You're going to say, oh, wham, I'm on a streak. Lock up a profit first, and then you can get aggressive. But you can't. 90% of the people who gamble in a casino, at poker, on sports, 90% get ahead at some point in their week or month. And 70% of that 90% give the money back. It's a sin that you people don't understand discipline. And it all starts with a 27-letter word called regression.
Yep.
Regress after a win. Go ahead, Megan.
Money management and discipline. I'm going to let her. Here's a craps question, John. I don't know if you have it on your screen, but I'm going to bring it up. if I can get it
No,
up.
I don't have the screen.
Okay, well, that's all right. We'll read it to you. Go ahead, Miss Megan.
When a player has a $90 don't pass with a point of 8, what do you prefer now? $78 place the point?
Wait a minute, Megan, wait a minute. He has a $90 don't pass bet.
Right.
8 become the point?
Right.
Yes.
He wants to know how you hedge it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that 8 was established after he made the $90 bet. Okay, I do not, and I repeat, I do not want the 8 as my don't number. I go back and take a hedge bet on the hard way to cut down my chances of losing, because there are 5 ways to make an 8. A 6-2, 2-6, 5-3, 3-5, and so and 4-4. So I don't want 5 ways of losing. So by going back and taking a hard way bet, I cut it down to only 4 ways you can beat me. But I don't start with a pass line bet and bet to do. I never bet to pass line. I never throw the dice. And I know Gary wrote the most fantastic dice setting book you've ever read. It's fantastic, platinum crap. But I personally, John Patrick, do not bet the pass line. I bypass the come out roll. And after the point's established, then I place a 6 and the 8. I don't want the 4 as a point. I don't want 5 as a point. I don't want 9 as a point. I don't want 10 as a point. They're too hard to make. So I never bet the pass line. I bypass the come out roll, and as soon as the dice establishes a point, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, I put $24 on the 6 and $24 on the 8. And through the don't come with a $15 bet. Now, why do I place the 6 and the 8? You're going to say, oh, yeah, but you get more money if you bet on the pass line. That's a lot of baloney. And that's a one-roll bet where you got the 6 on the come-out roll and the 11 on the come-out rolls. 8 ways to win. You got 3 ways to lose them with craps. But then you got to take a crappy number like 4, 5, 9, or 10 as your point. I bypass the come-out roll, bet 24 on the 6 and 24 and the 8, and I have the right bets of 6 and 8 every single solitary game that I play in the casino. 100% of the time when I bet right, I start with the 6 and the 8. The 2 teams, the numbers have been made the most number of ways. And the last thing I'll say on that point is there's 5 ways to make a 6. There's 5 ways to make an 8. That gives me 10 ways of making the 6 and the 8. There is only 3 ways to make a 4, 4 ways to make a 5, 3 ways to make a 10, and 4 ways to make a 9. That's 14. I got 14 ways I have to make a hard number like that. I got 10 ways of making a 6 and the 8. And every single dice that you look at, if a 1 comes on the first dice, I never look at both dice. I look at the first one. If 1 shows, I can make a 6. If 2 shows, I can make a 6 or an 8. If 3 shows, I can make a 6 or an 8. If 4 shows, I can make the 6 or the 8. If 5 shows, I can make the 6 or the 8.
All right, let me finish that, John. Let me just go over that a little bit. But to answer that gentleman's question, if you have this book, and this is the 600-page advanced book, it's out of print. A lot of people have the cut-down version. It's about 350 pages. This is the advanced. Yeah. This is the 600-page book that John signs. There's about 250 pages in this book just on betting the don't. John gave you a short hedge. If your point skill and luck is $90 and it don't pass, you probably want to take about a $10 hard way. You know, that'll cut down your odds. You could, in the old days, you could also place it for a certain amount. But this book here is going to answer all those questions. It's one of the only places you can get it, and we do have it on the website at platinumcraps.com. This is my Bible. This is my golden book. I know Megan's reading the beginning book. We're going to get her into this book. So this will answer a lot of your questions. In fact, I was going to play a little clip from one of John's TV shows talking about the don't. I think, you know what, now would be a good time to do that. And then I'm going to have Miss Megan go down here and write some more questions. Now, here's the thing. These old TV shows were on video. We had to transpose them over to flash drive. They're all on one flash drive. So I've got to kind of zero in on where this thing starts. So bear with me if I don't hit it right on the mark. But it's John's
Yeah,
from.
Gary, could I ask you one question on the don't side before you show the tape?
Go ahead.
You don't want to look at my ugly face anyway. Guy, could I just say one thing on the don't?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for you players that bet the don't, do not bet the don't pass. Don't bet the don't pass. I never bet the don't pass. I bypass the come out roll and wait till the number's established. If the point is 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10, I lay. If the point is 6, 5, or 4, I lay 41, no 4, and $5 on the hard 4. If the point is 8, 9, or 10, I lay $41 on the no 10, with $5 on it, or $4 or $3 based on what you bet. Now, I bet 41, no 10, or 41, no 4. I have the two hardest numbers to make, the 4 and the 10, when I'm betting on the don't side. And I reduce those chances of losing from 3 on the 4 down by taking the hard way. So this way here, the only number that could beat me is 1, 3, 3, 1. And on the 10, I take the hard 10. The only thing that could beat me is 6, 4, 4, 6. I've only got 2 ways of losing. So let's suppose the dice come out and the number's 4. They can't beat me with a 4. The only number that could beat me on the other dice is a 6, but the odds is 5 to 1 in my favor. It's not going to be a 6. You people have got to learn what are my chances of losing, and then you take your chances of losing and reduce it down to as little as you can. Go ahead, Gal. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, that's all right. All right. So, anyways, and for the people that have short money and don't want to lay, I just like to come through the don't come, and I can get even money dollar for dollar on my don't bet. But that's another conversation. I'm going to bring up.
Yeah, because I won't leave myself open by coming through the don't come. It's just like leaving myself open on the don't pass. If I bet the don't pass, I could lose on the 6 ways on the 7 and 2 ways on the 11. And coming through the don't come, the same thing is approved. The same thing applies. I could lose 6 ways on the 6 and 2 ways on the 11. I don't want to lose 8 ways. So I want to establish a don't number, the 4 to 10, reduce those chances of losing from 3 down to 2 by taking the hard 4 or the hard 10, depending on which one becomes a point. But by bypassing the come out roll and then coming through the don't come, you're still leaving yourself open for the 6 ways of making a 7 to beat you and the 2 ways of 11, and the odds are 8 to 3, that's going to come. So you've got to protect yourself if you're going to bet the don't pass. You got to protect yourself if you're going to bet the pass. If I'm betting the pass, I bypass the come out roll, place a 6 and the 8. If you're a $5 better, bypass the come out roll, place $12 on the 6 and $12 on the 8, irregardless of what the point is, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10.
All right, John, let me play this clip real quick. It's from your old TV show. It is talking about the don't, but you also get into ricochet, which I'm not going to get into tonight. It's too complicated.
Oh, the ricochet.
Yeah, I know. So let me...
Greatest invention since Christ was an author, boy.
Hang tight. I want to play this clip, and then we'll come back to you. Now, remember, guys, I got to kind of cue this up because it's all on one giant flash drive, but it's worth it. So here it is.
Chairwoman of the 1987 National UNICEF Day campaign.
Now, for the first time, he's offering a series of instructional videotapes on craps, blackjack, roulette, plus a new tape on slots. Shot on location in Atlantic City, these easy-to-follow tapes cover everything from the basic fundamentals and strategy for the novice to sophisticated money management and hedging techniques for the advanced player. John Patrick will dramatically change your approach to casino gambling. You'll learn how to use expert knowledge, discipline, and money management skills to reduce the house edge and become a more consistent winner. Each tape is $39.95, 3 for $99. To order, call toll-free 1-800-282-6666. Visa, MasterCard, American Express accepted. Operators are standing by. Call now 1-800-282-6666.
Robert from Scotch Plains, you're first up tonight.
Don?
Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Good.
All right, about craps. Recently I've been playing the don't. And I've been playing pretty much the way you say to in the book. Let's say that we're a green chip player.
Okay.
One on the don't pass. You come through the don't come.
Okay, now after the point's established,
Right.
give me a point, Bobby.
5.
Okay, now what are you going to do?
Take these single odds and put a chip in the don't come.
That's it. Okay, lay the single odds. Good. Okay.
All right,
Hey,
then.
hey, Bobby, let me ask you this question. Do you hedge the 6 and 8 at the same time?
Well, actually, that's going to be my question.
Okay.
The question's going to be, anytime I encounter a 6 and 8, I've been throwing $3 down to the hard way on that number.
Okay, well, what I'd like to see you do... No. I'm talking about, like, suppose the point became your 5.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Bobby, what you've got here, you're open now for a bet on the 6 and the 8. You can place it for $12 or $6 each. You see, because if the 6 or 8 comes on the next roll because you're betting in the don't come, then this chip would move behind the don't come number. Like, suppose the 6 comes, but you're going to be paid $7 right off the go. Bobby, you with me?
Yeah, that really, okay. I see what you mean.
Okay, so here's what you could do, about just to give you an offshoot from what you're talking about. You came through the don't pass, and 5 became your point.
Uh-huh.
You laid the odds against the 5. Now what you could do is come through the don't come, Bobby, with a $10 bet, which is less than the amount you're covering.
Right.
Place the 6 and the 8. Now suppose the 6 comes. The don't come is going to move behind the 6. You're going to be paid $7. Remove your odds off of the 5. Take down your 8. Leave the hedge bet of the 6th place against the no 6.
Because you're already ahead on the 6.
That's right. You're already ahead, and you want to cut your chances down because the 6 is so powerful. And then come through the don't come with a $10 bet. If 10, 9, or 4 becomes the don't come, leave it alone.
Right, then you're fine.
But hey, Bobby, if the 8 becomes the don't come, go back and hedge the 8 again and come through the don't come with a $5 bet. You see? Good point. Hey, Bobby, can I tell you one quick thing?
Uh-huh.
You read the book. I was talking to a fellow here tonight, a guy by the name of Bernie. He walked in here. He went to one of the casinos, and he played the Patrick system. You familiar with it?
He played what?
The Patrick system. Betting both ways are the same?
Yeah, I tried that a couple of times.
They stopped him.
It was a real grind,
Oh, it's
but
a
I
grind.
can see that it works out in the end.
But, hey, Bob, they stopped him from playing it. They told him they didn't want his action.
I only did it in Harris.
They won't bother you.
Me there.
But this one here, they stopped him. What it does, it is a grind, Bob, but you know what it does? Up to wind up. Hey, Bobby, what it does, it really beats the 7 on the come-out roll, and it lets you, the don't better, which you apparently are a don't better, it lets you fight only the 10, the 9, the 5, and the 4 all day long. When the point becomes 6 or 8, you could take the odds and place the opposite. Suppose the point became the 8. Take the odds, place the opposite. If the point became 10, 9, 5, or 4, then you become a don't better. What you're doing is you're only laying against the hard numbers, and you're taking the easy numbers, the 6 and the 8.
I'm surprised that more of them don't stop us from doing that.
Yeah, because the system is so strong, but there's 2 casinos that I know of, which naturally I can't say, but 2 of them have stopped us already, which I said 2 years ago, Bob, they're going to stop us from playing this system. Eventually, they're going to have to put a rule up because the don't better should play this system. It beats the 7, okay?
All right.
Hey, thanks, Bobby.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody.
All right, well, that was just a little bit of one of John's old shows from back in the day, So You Want to Be a Gambler. And there's a question up here, again, skill and luck. How do I find John's services? The best way, all of John's books and everything is on, it's on the website. Go to platinumcraps.com. And not only are his books on there that are out of print and hard to find, but we took all his classes, the 4 classes on craps, beginner, intermediate, advanced, super professional. They're all on flash drive along with my dice setting class. So you get all that on one flash drive. We do beginning baccarat. We do beginning roulette. We do advanced roulette. We do beginning blackjack and then advanced blackjack with card counting. So just go to Platinum Craps. Oh, and sports handicapping. He has a sports handicapping service there. And, you know, that's going to be great because we've got baseball coming up. He had a great football season. Anyways, Miss Megan, do we have any questions coming up for John here?
Yeah, there was one up.
Hang on. So let me take this up. We got so many buttons to push here.
A little bit further up.
Further up?
Yep, keep going. Edward.
Oh, Edward. Okay. This is a long question. John, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, we got a question from Edward. John, I'm strictly a craps player, and I only keep place bets up for 2 box number hits and then pull them down. I'm happy to make $20 to $30 from each shooter. Any thoughts? Well, I can tell them that's a great way to play. It's called up and pull or regress when you get 2 hits. It's not a question of if the 7 is coming. It's a question of when the 7 is coming. So the quicker you get your profits and the quicker you come down, you've got profit in your chip rack, and nobody's ever going to argue for taking profits. People leave the bets up too many times. Then that 7 comes. They go, oh, gee, I should have just taken my bets down. Take them down early. I wrote a whole chapter in the Platinum Craps book, and I think Edward has a copy. I'm not sure, but it's called Peter Press versus Ronnie Regress. It tells you why you should regress as soon as possible and get some money in your chip rack early. After you then get some the house money in, then you may stay up a couple extra times or get some other numbers on there. So no one's ever going to argue with regressing. Skill and luck, I answered that question. Okay, what do we have? Keep going down. Here's one about roulette, John. Yeah.
Did Edward ask that question?
Yeah, Edward asked that question.
Okay, let me just put my 2 cents in.
Okay.
Edward, that's a great question, and it's a great move that you're doing. For you people, I don't know if you understand what he said. Edward is bypassing the come-out roll. He's not worried about a point. But after the point established, then he places, I assume it's the 6 and the 8. And he only needs it up for 2 rolls by the shooter. See, you can put a bet up, place the 6 and the 8, and you can leave it up as long as you want or as little as you want. So Edward seems to indicate that he just takes 2 rolls. Well, if you take the average craps game all over the entire continent and all the way over to Asia, Europe, and wherever they play craps, the average number of numbers that's thrown after the point established is 4.5. That means after the point established, the shooter is only going to throw 1, 2, 3, or 4, and of course a little bit on the 5, but only 4.5. So Edward is taking his bets down after 2 hits. That's a tremendous method. Edward, I don't know if you're listening. Of course, I am having trouble with my TV. But if you leave your place bets up for 2 hits, 2 rolls for the shooter, excellent. That's perfect. And then get them right down. And you should get a hit on the 6 or the 8 in the first 2 rolls, because every single roll of the dice is going to have 4 numbers each, where you can make the 6 or the 8. If you look at the first die, if it's a 2, you can make the 6 or the 8. If it's a 3, you can make the 6 or the 8. If it's a 4, you can make the 6 or the 8. If it's a 5, you can make the 6 or the 8. If it's an 8, you can make the 8. If it's a 6, you can at least make the 8. But every single solitary roll is going to give you a shot. And the fact that you only stay up for 2 rolls of the dice, excellent.
And if the dice,
people who are very conservative, Edward plays an excellent way.
And
Good play, Edward.
if one die has the 1 on it, you can still make the 6 with the 5. All right, John, here's a quick.
You can still make the 6 with the 5. And if one dice has a 6, you can still make the 8 with the 2.
Right. Here's a question.
It doesn't matter what number comes out on one of the dice. It doesn't. That's a good point to make, Gary. It's an excellent point. I left it out because I forgot it. Because when you get to be 35, you start forgetting things.
Well, that's all right, John.
If the number is 1, you can still make the 6. If the number is 8, you can still make the. If the number is 8, you can still make the 8. If the other die, if one die is a 6, so you can never be out of the game. And the fact that Edward stays up with just 2 rolls. Good, Edward.
Well, guys, just read the advanced book. It'll answer all your questions. Trust me, I've read it 3 or 4 times. Now, here we have a question, John. It's not about craps, roulette, or anything. It's a different game called Spanish 21. What's your opinion of Spanish 21 by Bob Marceau?
That is sickest. First of all, I know what you're talking about, Spanish 21. Let me tell you something. For all you people who play blackjack, you are out of your mind. Never play blackjack. Period. I started playing blackjack in Las Vegas. I stopped. I wouldn't fly because I haven't got the guts to fly. So when I got back from Korea, I was up in Seattle, Washington, which is the home of the company that the division I was with, the Second Infantry Division. And they said, we're going to fly you home. I said, no way. I won't fly. So they said, well, the only option is a bus. We went through Las Vegas, and it was the first time I was in Las Vegas. I was 20 years old. I had just turned 20. I volunteered for the draft when I was 18. I went in to Las Vegas, and I started playing blackjack. I got my clock clean to the point of I gave back my, what do you call it, the money you get when you get released from the Army. So I come home broke on the Greyhound bus that they gave me. Now, Spanish 21 is even a worse game than regular blackjack. And I'm going to show you one point. If you play blackjack, all of your decisions is based on the dealer's up card. There are 13 cards that the dealer could show as his up card. Ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
To get a copy. But to answer all your questions, guys, everything is on the website. We took all of John's books that are available. Some of them are out of print. The craps book. I have a couple blackjack books around. We took all the classes, blackjack, roulette, baccarat, all the craps, the dice setting class. Everything now is on flash drive. You just put it in your computer.
You didn't mention sports betting, Gary.
Oh, and sports betting. God, I mean, here's the thing about sports betting. We've been on fire with sports betting. I know we've gotten a couple new people that have joined your service. I forgot the gentleman's name that just joined 2 weeks ago. But guys, sports betting dollar for dollar is your best bet. So, and John wrote one of the best books on sports betting.
His name is Stanley.
Sutton or Stanley, yeah.
His real name is George, but he uses his middle name because he doesn't like the name George, and he uses Stanley.
Well,
and he just joined.
Yeah.
He says, holy God, I never heard of these things that you're talking about, which is called hedging. You can hedge a ball game that starts at 7 o'clock and go back halfway through the game if you're losing and bet the other side and cut your chance of loser down. Suppose you had the Yankees to beat the Red Sox, and the Yankees are losing 3-1 in the fifth inning, or 3-2. You can go back and bet the Red Sox to cut down your losses. There's so much that you could do with hedge betting, crisscross betting. Hedge betting is what saves you. Just like that guy that Gary just talked about when he said he just leaves his money up for 2 rolls. Oh my God! I was shaking my head. Oh boy, Edward. You people have to learn how to play and learn how not to lose. I don't care how much I win. I care how little I lose.
Well, here's
Gary's going to say that before the show's over because I told him.
Well, here's the people. I know you can't see it, John, but here's a gentleman, SJR99. He just signed up for sports betting last month. Rough couple of weeks, but we know it's really been good overall. And you got baseball coming up with series. We also like hockey because if the goalies are having a great night, it's usually under. If they're having a bad night, it's usually over. It's one of the better games, the handicap. So, John, here's what I've got to do because we're getting a little late into the show. I'm going to put you on hold on the phone. I mentioned in the show we were going to go over, I want to show them a couple new books that have come out, and we want to touch on a thing called the 5 count. It's a system that somebody wrote. We just want to touch on it for a second. So I'm going to put you on hold for a second, and then I'll get back to you in just a few minutes. All right. So, guys, I'm going to go to the table and see if I can get myself up here. Okay, there we go. So let me move this up. I got about 6 screens on my screen, guys. By the way, there's a couple new things coming in. I just got locked out. Why is this happening? Okay. We're trying to go to the table, but we got locked out. Unbelievable. All right. I don't know why this happens like this, guys. We try to do 2 things at once, and then we get locked out. Okay. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to show you a couple books that have come out in the market. First of all, guys, if you haven't gone on the website, go to go to Las Vegas Advisor. This is without a doubt one of the best little books you'll get. It comes out every year. It's called the Member Rewards Book. It's got all kinds of great deals in here. Just in the match play, you've got about a couple $100 in match play. So all you do is take the coupon with your player's card. You're going to get discounts all through Vegas. It's through the Anthony Las Vegas Advisor. And he also has a newsletter you can sign up for. We had him on a couple months ago. It's a great thing to have while you're coming to Vegas. Order it before you come to Vegas. Go to LasVegasAdvisor.com and check it out. It'll save you a lot of money. All right. One of the books that are on his website was this art book. We did a show a couple months ago, but it was on Facebook. All right. And a lot of people didn't see it. A lot of the people that are on YouTube said they didn't get to see it. So this book is on the Advisor book. It's all the art from the 15th century all the way up to present day. It's a coffee table book. I love this book. It was originally $65. They had it on sale for like $7 or $8. Great deal. I did mention also too, if you haven't seen this book, Fast Jack. If you haven't seen the movie Yonkers Joe, check it out. It's on cable. This is the gentleman who is the consultant for it. His name is John Farrell. He just passed away a couple of years ago. Excellent guy. He was a card mechanic and a dice mechanic. And this is the movie talks about him. And this book, not that hard of a read. It's only $20 on Amazon. It's called Fast Jack, The Last Hustler, Memoirs of John Farrell. That's an interesting book. And then somebody sent me this book called The Complete Guide to Winning at Craps by Golden Touch. And I'm not going to mention the author because nobody really cares about who wrote the book. What they care about is the book going to be a good investment? When I wrote my book, nobody knew who I was. People want to know, what are the benefits of writing a book? In fact, I'm going to bring back Miss Megan. And Miss Megan, when I was in business, my business teacher taught me what are the benefits of writing a book or having a class or taking someone's class, reading their information. What do you think the benefits are that people are looking for?
Well, is it the benefits that customer receives from the product or service?
You see, that's why we have her on, guys. Not only is she good looking, but she's smart. Yes, it's the benefits that you'll get from reading a book. It's not a popularity contest. It's an information and learning contest. Are the benefits that I get from buying your book worth it? Did I learn something? That's what people want to know. Okay. So I was reading this book, and it's just unbelievable, some of the stuff it says. First of all, if you're a come better, this is the book you want, because the whole book is just telling people to bet on the come. It has all kinds of charts in here on the lower house edge and lower house advantage, et cetera, et cetera. But let me tell you something about house edge. And I wrote a whole chapter in my book on house edge and return on investment. All this house edge is crap with a capital C, all right? House edge means nothing if you've lost the bet. So if you lost the bet, it doesn't matter what the house edge is. And what they say, the author says, is the best bets at the table. And this has been written in 150 other books, and I have them all. The best bets are bet the pass line. This is on page 44 if you do have the book. Bet the pass line with full odds. Bet the come bet with full odds. Bet the don't pass with full odds. Bet the don't come with full odds. And ignore anyone who tells you differently, either on their books, YouTube videos. Deny them at every turn. Question them at every turn. They are idiots. Some of these statements are unbelievable. Okay, so he's basically telling you, if you don't bet the come according to this book, you're an idiot. All right, but they don't take the time out mathematically, and I'm pretty good with numbers. And when I teach, I always have a calculator with me. They don't take the time out to see your return on investment, and that is the key. Okay, then he gets into all this stuff about if you don't believe what's in this book, he literally tells you to burn all your other books. I mean, unbelievable. And burning books is not good for the environment. But then it gets into the 5 count. God, I wish we could come to the table. I don't know why we can't get to the table. It's killing me. All right. So basically he's saying, don't make a bet until you get 4 to 5 box numbers, and then you can start to bet. And he wants you to come through the come to make those bets. Well, I'd rather pick my number. I don't want to roll a 2, 3, or 12. I don't want the 4. I don't want the 5. I don't want the 9. I don't want the 10. I want 6 and 8. All right. If you go through the come bet, you have to pick. You don't get to pick your number. You have to take whatever the dice throw you. Okay. So then they said they had a computer, and I'm making some notes here. They had a computer that looked at 500 billion rolls, and it says that 5 count eliminates 57% of the shooters. Well, 500 billion rolls is half a trillion. It would take you 20 lifetimes to go through 500 billion. But this is a computer, and it's saying this is likely to happen. Well, the weatherman gets on TV and says it's likely to rain tomorrow. Doesn't mean it is going to rain, but it's likely. So if the 5 count eliminates 50% of the shooters, meaning they 7 out before they get to the point, I said to one of my students, why don't we start on the don't side of the table? Let's bet a don't pass line bet. If the computer says 57% of the shooters are eliminated, you win. If you get past the 5 count, you may, at your option, take that bet off the don't, and you can place the point. Or if you don't like the point, you can place any number you wish. You have the option because the don't pass is not a contract bet, but the come bet is. And after the 5 count, they want you to come through the come. Well, I don't want to come through the come. I want to pick my numbers. So they say 50% of the shooters will be eliminated. You'll only be betting on 43% of the shooters. I think, Miss Megan, we should do a show on the don't come, because a lot of people don't understand the don't come. I think we really need to, we showed a little bit of John Patrick's TV show, but I really think we should do a whole show just on the advantages and how to utilize the don't come. What do you think?
Well, I think you are completely on point and you're always on time. Maybe someone that has used the 5 count system can come on the show and explain it. Because I know I'd like to know how to do it.
That's a great comment. All right, did you hear what she said? If you've used the 5 count, you can email us at garrisoncraps at gmail.com. Please email us. We'd love to have you come on the show. All right, you can be a guest. If you've ever taken the Golden Touches class, if you're a instructor with Golden class, I'd love to have the author come on and directly speak with them one-on-one. It's an open show. We'll just have an open format. So I think that's a great idea, Miss Megan. I think we'll do a show on the don't side. In fact, I wrote a chapter in my book, and the chapter's entitled All Right Bettors Die Broke. You have to know how to play on both sides of the system. So I think this 5 count system is a perfect way to start on the don't side. If he doesn't get past the 5 count and he 7's out, you win. If he gets past it, you have the option and you can place a point. All right, so anyways, let's talk about that in the future. We did show you that little clip on the don't side that John had on his TV show. All right, what do we have on questions? Miss Megan, how we doing? Boy, we got a lot of questions from Ed. All right. So we thank you for reading John's class. It says, I bought that book. It's awful save the money. Oh, I guess this is the 5 count system. I think this is the 5 count system. I hope, Ed, you didn't put it. It says, I bought that book. It was awful save the money. The author just talks about what a great player he is in all his classes. Well, I didn't mention that. You did. But in the back of the book, the last 20 pages is all the classes they offer, all the products they offer, dice, tables, etc., etc. Yeah, so there is a big commercial in the back. Anyways, Ed, you said that, not us. Okay, here's one from James. And this says, do the 5 count, then try taking 2 hits and come down. So now you're at roll 7. All right, so you do the 5 count, then you take 2 hits and come down. Well, how do you know you're going to get those 2 numbers are going to hit? What if your come bet's on the 4 and the dice rolls 5, or your come bet's on the 9 and the dice roll 10? So with place betting, you can pick whatever number you want. Okay, so anyways, we have a lot of questions. And before I bring John back, we talked about giving away that free copy. I think now's the time to give away the free copy. Miss Megan, I'm going to have you start at the top. All right. Disregard the first one. That's for the show. Start with skill and luck. I want you to count down 17 comments. At the beginning of the show, Charlie said 17. That was the lucky number. So what we're going to do is we're going to count down 17 statements that people made, and the 17th person is going to be the lucky winner. What did you have?
Right there. Nope, down one.
Down?
Yep, that one.
Well, he put hi Charlie. So Ken, it looks like you're number 17. We'll just double check it. So do us a favor. We're going to need your name and address, mailing address. We will mail this out to you. You can email us at garrisoncraps. Email us at garrisoncraps@gmail.com, or if you want, you can call the office tomorrow, 702-487-5223. We will mail you out this copy, and it is signed, my friend. It says good luck always. So you're going to get a signed copy. So we're glad that one viewer did get a signed copy of the book, and it was Charlie that picked the winner. So I'm going to say goodbye to Charlie. Charlie, if you're still on the show, I don't know if you're still there. Okay. I know we had you on speakerphone. I've got you on interview. Your mic's probably down, but anyways, we just wanted to thank you for being on the show. Okay. I wanted to thank you. We gave away your book to Charlie, and we'll be in touch. Thanks very much for coming. I appreciate everything. All right. So, all right, we're back. All right, so let me lock up with John real quick. John, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, John.
How much time do I have?
How much time? How much time do you want? Take whatever you need, John.
You're going to be sorry
Well, why is that?
because I'm going to speak my mind.
Okay, go ahead. I can always
Are
edit
you
it.
sure?
Well, I don't know. What's it about?
It's about the books.
Which one? Yours?
No.
Oh, the other books?
The theories that are written by some of these books, because I know these people, and they hate my guts.
Well,
Give me a couple of minutes, but I got to get your clearance first, because you're going to call me when the show's over. Gary and I go way back, by the way. But he knows I'm a pain in the butt.
hey, well, don't feel bad, John. Some of these guys don't like me either, but I'm all about giving out correct information. So, anyways, go ahead, John. What was your comment?
How much time do I have?
Whatever you
I don't
need.
care if you say 2 minutes or 3, but give me an idea.
Hey, whatever you want, John. It's an open forum. You got it. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you people. Gary never mentions his book. I'll mention it. I don't throw the dice. I never throw the dice. I haven't thrown the dice in 30 years. Because I want the 6 and the 8, and by throwing the dice, I'm going to get the 4, 5, 9, or 10. Okay. He's written a book on dice setting. I read it. I have a table. Obviously, I have a table in my house. My wife got me a crap table, blackjack table, roulette table, everything. She turned my den into a casino. Okay. He wrote a fantastic book on dice setting, and I tried it. I still will not use it in a casino because I don't believe in throwing the dice. But Gary never mentions his own book. Platinum Craps. Get it? Platinum Craps. Now we go to where Gary's going to cut me
cut you off, John.
About 15, 20 years ago, no, I'm sorry, about 25, 30 years ago, there was a woman out in Chicago dying of cancer. Well, the guy who was married to her took my sports service. He says, John, we're having what do you call it, a casino night for my wife to raise money because the bills are through the roof. He's still with me, by the way, and he was with me for years. He's still with me. This is he's in his late 80s. Now, I went out to Chicago. There happened to be about 6 or 7 other writers who wrote books on gambling.
This is when you were with Casino. You were with Casino Player back then with Adam Fine.
Yeah, Casino Player hates my guts. Anyway, each of us had an hour to go into a room, and they gave me the first table as you walk in the door. There was never less than 50 people at that table the whole week. So the other people wouldn't talk to me. When I went in to give my seminar, at 2 to 3 was my time, and then everybody else had an hour, and then they had before me and after me. The guy that was after me is a very, I'll use the word famous and then choke on it. He wrote so many books. I read some of his books. I almost got to the 6th page on some of them. Him and his entourage came after me. My room was packed. When I left, I said, if you got any questions, come over to my booth. And, of course, I cleared the room. He turned me into the guy, John, who ran the charity event. On the last day, they brought all of us writers up on the stage, and there were about at least 300 people in the auditorium asking questions. I remember I was sitting on the stage on the right-hand side with 7 other writers, and you know their names.
Yeah, I've heard this. I've heard this story. I'm surprised you're saying it, but go ahead, finish it.
Anyway, every time a question came to John Patrick, I would start to answer it, and one of these ding-dongs would interrupt. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Anyway, this went on for about, I'd say 20, 25 minutes. And every question that I tried to answer, and I was getting most of the questions, every question, one of these ding-dongs would cut in saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I said, you know something? I did this to sit on this stage out of respect for John, who's running this charity event for the lady. And it's been successful. We've had over 600-700 people every day. I've answered all your questions. I never take a break. I come on at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I stay till 7 o'clock at night every night. And every time I was asked a question, the rest of these ding-dongs that right there, garbage, would answer the question for me. This is back in 1989. I had my TV show, saying, want to be a gambler. Anyway, I jumped off the stage. But before I did, I said, if you people want to listen to me, then you're going to have to put up with these people interrupting me. Or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going back to my booth. Do you want to come? Come on down. I'll answer your questions. And I won't be interrupted by these, I'll call them people. But you know what I think of them. I went down to my booth. I took away 80% of the people. That night was a Friday night, and John came to me and he says, hey, John, I'm taking everybody out to dinner. He says, I know it's going to be tough on you, but would you come? I said, I would walk across the street with one of them. And what do you call it? I was up in my room changing. I called for, they didn't have Uber then. There was a YouTube or Uber, whatever it is. And I called for a taxi. I come down the elevator, and they were all standing there. All of these people and their wives were standing there talking and laughing, waiting for the bus to come and take them to the restaurant where John was going to buy them all dinner. I got out of the elevator, and I walked right towards what I write is Gary's book, and he never mentions it. Platinum Craps. If you want to read crap, well, you know the writers that I'm talking about. If you don't, well, then you don't know much about gambling. The way Gary explains it, the best games to play is craps, and we show you how to do it. If you're a dice setter, I beg your pardon, if you're a dice setter, would you throw the dice? Go ahead. I can do it, but I don't throw the dice, so I will never play it. I place a 6 and the 8. I use money management, discipline, bankroll, and knowledge. But I'm just telling you this. If you want to gamble, listen to what Gary's questions are to me, and we try to get it across to you how to gamble. All this cum betting, the best thing is to cum bet. That guy is full of crap. I never bet the cum. Gary said it in one of his talking about the cum betting. He said, I don't want to go down that road. Because Gary, I don't want to say he doesn't have the guts. He's got too much class. I got no class at all. None. Zero. And I'm telling you, don't bet the cum. Like Gary said, I want to pick the numbers I want to bet. But he glossed over it instead of saying it 3 or 4 times.
Well,
you know
John,
what I'm talking about? Would I be friendly with Gary if he was a jerk? No. I tell him where to go. I'm telling you, you want to learn how to gamble, get discipline, get money management, and cut your losses to the bone. If you got questions, you can email me, jpackard55@verizon.net. I'll answer every one of your questions. No, I'm not going to try to say anything because I don't give a rat's tail if you believe me or not. Gary will probably never ask me back on the show again, but we'll still be friends.
John, I love you. In fact, here's the thing. I've heard that question because you and I have talked and we've gone through a lot of questions. And I've heard that story. I'm surprised you brought it on. But my favorite chapter.
Because I got no feelings, Gary.
Well.
I see people at the table. I mean, holy God almighty, the mistakes they make. And they say, boy, you're awful conservative. I said, why? Because I take my bets down? Number of dollars.
No!
Take 2 hits and come down. I take 2 hits and come down. Just like that guy, Edward, I remember his name because I'm so proud of him. He takes 2 rolls and comes down. If you people would just listen to logic, theory, logic and trends, it's the little 3. The big 4 is bankroll, knowledge, money management, discipline. The little 3 is theory, logic, and trends. Theory, we've got the right theory, how to play. Logic, everything you do in a casino is logical. Edward taking 2 rolls and coming down, that's a logical move. And trends, in gambling, trends dominate. If I go to a roulette table or a baccarat table, they have an electric sign next to the tables. On roulette, I was standing there talking one day. I walked into the casino, there's 32 people asking me questions. But the dealer come over to me. I sent someone over to me. He says, John, come over to his table. The dealer wants to show you something. I walked over there, and the electric sign showed 16 previous numbers on roulette. On this particular day, I was in, what's his name, Trump's Casino, the Castle. He sponsored my TV show, Donald Trump. I'm a devout coward, I'm a devout Catholic, and I'm a devout follower of Donald Trump. Should be the next president for the next 50 years. But anyway, he said, hey, John, look at the electric sign. I'm telling you, 11 consecutive black numbers came up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 35, 20, 17, all black numbers. There wasn't one person playing black. And I said to one guy playing the red, he was up to $50. He was betting 5, 10, 20. I said, why'd you bet black? He said, no, red is due to come. I said, why? I said, it's a 50-50 chance. And there's 11 straight blacks. And you're betting red? People are so stupid that go into a casino. I apologize, Gary.
No, John.
I apologize for yelling at 2 people, but holy good God, it's not impossible to win at gambling. Play craps? Do you want to be a dice setter? Good. Get platinum craps. The best game in the house outside of the regular games, pie, gal, poker. The cards, not the dice.
Megan has a
apologize for yelling.
Now, Megan has a comment or a
apologize to you. You probably never talk to me again, but at least Megan likes me. So.
Well, John.
She sent me her address and she sent me a couple of pictures of her. Oh my God! I don't want to go down that stage.
John,
Wait.
you really need to learn how to form an opinion.
No, I gotta learn how to form an opinion, Megan.
I think so
And
too.
not give it.
Well, we love your honesty, John, and so do the viewers. I mean, people are writing comments here all the time. You know.
Yeah, I gotta just say one thing.
Yeah.
Before I left Vegas, before I left New Jersey, I had to move to Vegas. We have a problem in my family, and I had to come down here to help my family. So I came to Florida, which I hate. I hate it with a passion that knows no bounds. But anyway, before I left, I used to give seminars every night. I mean, I'd be in a casino all day and give seminars. I rarely went to my office. They didn't even give me a desk because I was never there. Anyway, I was given at this Jewish convention down in South Jersey. I forget the name of it, but I was going there for about 5 years. And they always had about 500 people. And I was giving my lecture, and I don't stand on the stage. I walk through the audience in case a guy wants to take a shot at me. I'll punch him right in the mouth if it's a girl. If it's a guy, I apologize. But because I haven't got any guts. But anyway, this one guy raised his hand at the break. I said, we're going to take a break. There's coffee and cake over there. Eat all you want. You got a question? I'm going to have a piece of cake and a cup of coffee, but ask me questions. You don't have to wait until you get back on stage. And one guy in the back raised his hand, and he said, hey, John, this is the first time I've heard you speak. But all my buddies, they said, you got to come to this guy. He'll insult you right here. He doesn't care what he says. And he said, but you can't get mad at him. So he says, I just want to tell you something, John. This is my first time here, and I understand you're leaving for Florida. But he says, I've been listening to you for the last hour and a half. You've insulted half the people in the room already. And I said, what's your name? And it was either Ralph or Robbie. But I said, what's your first name? And he told me. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, Robbie. I insulted half the people. I meant to insult everybody. Who did I miss? But if just raise your hand, tell me who you missed. I'll take care of you in the second half. But it's just, I say, what's on my mind, Megan? Because I don't give a rat's tail. I don't care.
And you are my...
If you're a woman, I'll never insult you.
John, you are my idol.
Like you.
You're my idol, John.
She just said you're her idol.
It's a good thing you said that. Well, my wife just died 6 months ago, so I can say anything to a woman. But do I have feelings? None. If you ever see a seminar where I'm going to be, come on. Ask me a question, and one woman, I'll tell you one last thing. I went to Chicago one time and gave a seminar. And on the last day, I was there 5 days. On the last day, the guy who ran it let all the cops come in. And there was about 15 cops along the side. And one of the people said, what's the matter? I said, well, probably the cops are probably going to arrest me after this is over for insulting half two people. And one woman who was very quiet, was there all 5 days. She was in her 60s, easy. And she says, could I ask you a question? I said, you haven't asked me a question all week. And she says, how do you remember everybody's name? When somebody raises a question, you say, Ed, what's your question? Rob, what's your question? Or John, what's your question? She says, how do you remember their names? And I said, do you remember the guy that asked the first question before about bypassing the come out roll in place in the 68? She said, how did you remember his name? His name was Jim. How did you remember it? I said, take a look at Jim. He's sitting here, right back of you in the next row. For breakfast, he had eggs, coffee, and he must have had a cruller because I looked at his tie. So I remember the guy with the cruller and the eggs on his tie. His name is Robbie. Look at this guy over here. I mean, there was some black guy there. And he was smart as a whip. He was bigger than the chair. He must have weighed about, of course, I apologized to him after it was all over. I said, I know you can't even sit on your chair. This guy was about 340 pounds, and he had to have his legs out in the aisle. He was so big. And I said, how do I remember him? Look at the size of him. He's got on a red shirt. He's got on a blue hat. He's got on 2 white sneakers with black socks, and he's got a striped a pair of pants on. I don't know who dresses him in the morning, but I remember his name. His name was Jacob. I remember that, and that was 20 years ago. But I remember them because of what they had for breakfast, or what their tie looks like, or how they dress. The 2 guys in the front here, oh, you should see her. She is gorgeous. And about 15 people stood up. I
Excuse me, John. John, I hate to cut you off, but our time is running out, and I've got to finish one thing with Miss Megan. Hang on, I'm going to get back to you as soon as we cut off. But there's a question for Miss Megan, and we have to answer it. So I'll be right back to you as soon as we cut off. We ran over tonight, but you had some great stories, so I'll be right back with you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We had a question from N-Poke, a guy, and here's your answer. Okay, so what we did was we started with the 17th. Well, Miss Megan, you tell him.
Well, my apologies, but G-Man asked me to eliminate the very first comment because it's the link to our show.
Yeah, that's the link to get to the show. The first comment was skill and luck. That's where we started. So we went down 17, and it's, we counted it, and that's just the first link is to get to turn the show on. So we actually started with real comments from real viewers. So anyways, we came up with, who was the gentleman again? I think it was Ken.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Ken, you don't have to go out and buy it. All you have to do is email us. I guess you came out to be the 17th person, and all you have to do is email us tomorrow or later on today, or give us a call at the office. We'll get your mailing address. We'll send it right out to you. Okay. So we want to be fair. We did count it. We did go down and count it again. I hope that answers your question. All right. Well, listen, we ran a little bit longer than we normally do on shows. We covered quite a bit. We want to thank Charlie for being on the show. Obviously, John Patrick, he has so many stories. I want him to tell you the time he went to Frank Sinatra's birthday party. Maybe we'll get into that next time. We still are getting questions coming in. This will be up on YouTube. You can leave any comments or messages. So let's bring back Miss Megan. And let me see if I can get her on stage. Okay. All right. Well, she's in the corner. All right. So, Miss Megan, thank you for being our assistants, helping us out with all the questions.
Always.
All right. And again, what do we tell all of our people and all of our members and all of our viewers? What do we tell them when they go to the casino? Kind of our little house message.
Good luck at the tables.
Good luck at the tables, guys. We'll see you next time. Take a lot of money to the casino cage. All right. Try your place bets and buy bets over your come bets. If you have any other questions, go to Garrison Craps on YouTube. Casino math versus real math. Miss Megan and I did a whole show on that. All right, so you can get all kinds of information. We'll see you next time, probably right before Memorial Day. We'll do a show in May, right before Memorial Day. And again, we want to wish Miss Megan a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Megan. All right. We'll see you next time, guys. That's a wrap. All right. Thanks very much.